Hi, and welcome to your video orientation for the Jay Flight SLX 174BH by Jayco. We're going to start our orientation on the outside. Let's take a look at our front storage compartment here. You'll find storage for the wheel that actually goes on the front tongue of your trailer. Handy if you have a nice level driveway. You can put the wheel on when you park it and move it around a little bit. Just be aware that it will roll. And we have the manual crank for your stabilization jacks, and I'll talk about those in a minute. So at the front of the trailer, on the tongue here, is where you can find battery storage, as well as your safety breakaway switch. Now that safety breakaway switch is important that when it's attached into your tow vehicle on the loop end, if your vehicle becomes detached from the trailer, it will pull this pin here and engage the trailer brakes. Now, if your pin is pulled even just a little bit, it could still engage the brakes, and sometimes that can happen when you're hooking up or unhooking if you yank on the line a little bit. So if you go to pull your trailer and move your trailer and you find that the brakes are engaged on the trailer, then I would come back and just make sure that this pin is fully inserted. You have your 20-pound propane bottle here and cover, as well as your manual tongue jack. We're going to continue around your trailer, and the first thing we'll come to is the input for your potable water. So drinking water, if you're going to be anywhere where you don't have, not at a campground, kind of backcountry camping, you'll want to fill your freshwater tank, and this is where you do that. Continue along the back. Here you'll find your 30 amp power cord you plug into your campground power or into your house. And next to that we have your city water connection. This is where you plug the hose from your campground basically, or your house. And right below here at the back of the trailer we have your output for your black and gray water, as well as the valves for your gray water and black water tank. Right back here, also in the back corner, we have your tongue jacks that I showed you earlier. The manual crank was in your front storage compartment. There's one at either corner on the back of the trailer. It's important to note that you should have your trailer mostly level beforehand, and these should be used just to snug it up to the ground so it doesn't move. Right above there, we have your hot water tank. This is your outside access. A couple things to note here. One would be the drain, and the other being your pressure relief valve. Whenever you remove the drain plug or cap, always make sure you open the pressure relief valve. If you don't, then that cap will shoot off like a rocket. If you are wanting to use satellite or a cable TV, this is the input for the trailer here. Continue along the back, your spare tire storage on the back bumper. Then as we come around to the door side again, I'd like to make note of speakers in the awning at each head on either end. Those can be played or used through playing the stereo inside the trailer. And then we also have your Gfci plug on the outside. And the other important thing to note before we take a look inside is the venting for your refrigerator. Now, because it is out here under your awning, I'd like to make sure I note that you need airflow through the venting in order for the refrigerator to operate properly. So if you're leaning anything up against either of these vents, it's not really a good thing. You need to allow airflow through there. Okay, let's open the door and we'll go in and take a look. First thing through the door, we'll notice your fire extinguisher. Very important piece of safety equipment. If you go to your right here, we enter your bedroom. This unit is pre-wired for solar, and it has a cutout already for the wires and everything to install the inside portion of that, as well as connections up on the roof of the trailer. I won't show you those, but if you were to get something like this, obviously we could talk about it in more detail. This particular unit comes with a wall-mounted AC unit. It's pretty straightforward. On and off button, a timer. You can cycle through the temp, high and low, and then cycle through just the fan or cool. As we turn around here, we'll take a look at the switch to control the awning. You can run it in and out. And we have the switches for the main lights of the trailer as well as for your awning lights. See your awning lights there. Nice. We'll come back over here and we'll make note of your indication, your panel indicator, let you know your battery, your fresh, your black and gray water tank levels. You also have switching for your water pump, your water heater on gas, and your water heater on electric. Also next to this we have your Gfci plug. If you ever notice that the light is on, that would be an indicator that the Gfci is tripped. And some of the symptoms you might experience if the Gfci trips is loss of power to your outside plug or possibly your bathroom plug. Next to that we have a 12-volt outlet connectivity as well as your TV cable or satellite connection. Also, I will note that there is a button beside here that is a booster for your antenna. If you're trying to use the cable service and you have the booster on, it will affect the quality of your cable signal, so it's important that this is off for that. Right below here we have a refrigerator. So we have pretty simple on-off button, but we also have a button here for your gas. Now if this light right here lights up, that would indicate that there's an issue with the gas. More than likely it is the valve at the bottle isn't open, or if you just open the bottle and there isn't enough pressure built up, sometimes it won't light on the initial light. So if that happens, I would just turn it off, wait a minute or two, and then try again, and it should fire right up for you. You can also put this on auto, which will cycle between gas or electric. It will always choose electric if it is present. Come over, just take a quick little talk about your stovetop here. Now, it's important to know that when you light this, you turn the knob to the lighting position. Once in the light position, use your barbecue lighter and light the flame. Alright, let's spin around here and we'll take a look at the power center. It's set up with breakers like you would see in your home, and they function much the same way, and fuses that the same as you might see in your car or truck or whatever vehicle you have. If one of these fuses is burnt out, you will see a light up the side that lights up, a red light. The next thing we'll check out is your stereo. Now this stereo operates with Bluetooth, an auxiliary port, a USB charging, HDMI capabilities, as well as two zones. One zone, zone 1 being the inside of the trailer, and zone 2 being the outside awning speakers that we mentioned previously. Straight ahead from here, we'll take a look at your thermostat. To turn the thermostat on, click the top lever over, and then on the bottom you have the adjustment for the temperature setting. Here we have your bunks. Now we'll go over your emergency exit in your bottom bunk. And if it were me, I'd make sure I went over it with my kids so they knew how to get out. It's pretty simple. We'll push down on the black tab, push the red handle over, spin it all the way out straight, push the handle all the way out clear of the window, and once it's out, you pull this red tab, pull the screen out, and you can escape to safety. Underneath this bunk here, we have a couple access points. This box here is actually access to your water pump. There's 2 Red Robbie screws, maybe 3 that you have to remove, and that'll give you access to the water pump and the hot water tank. To get at the hot water tank and a water pump, you do that normally just for winterizing purposes, There's a valve on the back of the water pump that switches between summer and winter mode basically. You turn that valve so it's in line with the feeder tube, and that tube basically goes into your antifreeze jug. And as far as the hot water tank, you have the same kind of valve on the back of it in order to bypass the hot water tank when you're winterizing, as you do not need to fill the hot water tank with antifreeze. Let's take a look in your bathroom here. Nice skylight. Yeah, apologize. There's one more thing. Right under here, it was hiding on me. Your carbon monoxide, the propane detector. There's a green light on the front there and a little button above it. If you press that button, it will make a series of loud beeps and then the light will turn back to green. That's just a way to test the sensor to make sure it is functioning properly. And I would do that periodically. I usually suggest to do it when you change the batteries in your smoke detector, which is usually recommended every 6 months or whenever we have daylight savings time. Speaking of smoke detector, here it is here. And as I just mentioned, I would also press the button on this every 6 months to test it. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you found this orientation helpful. If at any time you have any more questions, give us a call and we'll do our absolute best to get the answers that you desire. Thank you.